One of the miracles that happened during the time of Imam Jawad alayhi salam, who was the ninth Imam, was that there was a man named Ali ibn Khalid, and he was a Zaydite. He came from the Zaydite sect, and he did not acknowledge the Imams who came after Imam Sajjad alayhi salam. So this man, Ali ibn Khalid, he lived during the time of Imam Jawad, but he did not believe in Imam Jawad as his Imam. And he says that he was in the city of Samarrah, and he was told that a man from Damascus came, and he claimed to be a prophet, and they had brought him to Samarrah to put him in the prison. So Ali ibn Khalid went to see him and asked what was the deal with him, what was going on with him, why did he claim to be a prophet, and what was the news about, basically. So he said, the man who was in prison says, I was in Syria and I was busy in worship at the site that was supposed to be the resting place for the head of Imam Husayn alayhi salam. And one night, all of a sudden, while he was worshiping, he found himself worshiping, and then a man came and stood before him. And he rose up unconsciously and he just went with the man. The man told him to come with him, and he went with him, and all of a sudden they were in Masjid of Kufah. And he asked the man, he asked the prisoner, he wasn't a prisoner at that time, but this is the one he was talking to. The man said, do you know what masjid that you were in? And he said, yes, I recognize it, this is Masjid of Kufah. So they offered prayers there, and then they left, and the man took him out again, and they hadn't gone too far, and he noticed that he was all of a sudden, subhanallah, he was in Masjid al-Nabi, and he couldn't believe it. He was just wondering, like, how did I get here? And he invoked the blessings on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they offered their prayers there in Masjid al-Nabi. So after they left that place, they went out again too after this, and they found themselves in Mecca. And they went around the Kaaba, and they visited Masjid. They were visiting Masjid al-Haram. And after walking a few steps, he found himself originally back in his original place of Damascus. And all of a sudden, the man disappeared from his sight, as if he were just there, and then he just disappeared. And then he said he felt a slight breeze go over his face, and the man was gone. So a year had passed since this incident, and he met the man again. So he took the man on the same journey, and they visited all of the same holy places all over again. And at the end of it, the man was going to leave, and he begged him. He said, please, I ask you in the name of the one who has given you such a wonderful power to be so kind, just to let me know your name. Who are you? And he said, I am Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Musa ibn Ja'far. And he was the ninth Imam, Imam Jawad alayhi salam. So this man was, he was just so struck at how this happened, that he was miraculously transported from one place to the other, and time didn't even seem to matter to them. They could go from Damascus to Kufa to Medina to Mecca and back all in one night, and offer prayers and all of this. So he went back and he started telling everybody that he knew. And then the news reached Muhammad ibn Abdul Malik al-Zayyat, and he ordered his arrest and he said, he accused me of being a prophet, and now you see that I'm in prison. He's talking to Ali ibn Khalid, the one who went to visit him. He said, they called me a prophet, now you see that I'm in prison. So Ali says further that he said to him, would you like me to write to the governor, the one that put you in the prison, about your case? So he told him, you can go ahead and write him, see what he says. So Ali ibn Khalid said that he wrote him, but he got a reply back, and the reply was to tell him to ask whoever took him in one night from Damascus to Kufa, then to Mecca and Medina, and then brought him back to Damascus, ask him to get him released from the prison also. So Ali said he was distressed by this reply, and the next morning he had to go see the man, and he didn't know how to tell him this information because he felt upset about it. So when he was walking to the prison that morning to tell the man the man about the situation, he said he saw a large crowd around the prison, and people were going and coming, and they were all around the prison. And he asked the people, what's going on? What happened? So they told him that the prisoner who claimed to be a prophet had escaped from the prison, and they didn't know how he escaped. They said either he went down into the ground or he flew out through the sky. They couldn't, because the doors were closed. There was no way for him to get out. They didn't know how he got out. He just vanished. And after this, Ali ibn Khalid says that after seeing this incident, that he gave up his Zaydite beliefs, and he became a 12er Shia, believing in the imamah of Imam Jawad alayhi salam, the 9th imam from the line of Imam Husayn alayhi salam. And this is just one of the many miraculous things that happened during the time of Imam Jawad alayhi salam. So inshallah we can study more about Imam Jawad and learn more of the miracles, and this is just one of them. And we see from this miracle that the time and space, it didn't matter for them. They had the power to go from one place to the other place to this place. And somebody might say, well, how did they do this? And we can look in the story in the Quran, from the story with Nabi Sulaiman, where it says the man with the knowledge of the book, he brought the throne to Sulaiman within a twinkling of an eye. So he went all the way from one place and brought the throne even before he could blink his eye. And it said this person had some knowledge of the book, and he was able to do this. So how about the Imams of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, who have the complete knowledge of the book?